Okay, let's get started. I'm so excited to share this class with you because it's really all about marketing yourself. And I want you to have all the tools you need to make sure whether you're looking for a new job or you are um, looking for a promotion or anything like that. I want to make sure that you have the skills you need. So I'm super excited to have everybody here. Um, Okay, so let's go. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, and get this in the right mode. Okay, so this is all about how to market yourself, and it's creating some authentic strategies so that you can feel really good about it too. Because when we think about marketing, we think about selling. And selling can feel kind of icky and feel a little bit desperate. So I don't want you to feel that way. And I know this class is going to help you overcome those feelings and give you some really practical tools. So let's get started here. Okay. So a little bit about me. I'm the little weed that keeps on going. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my career over the years. Um, so just to review, I've been restructured out um, 3 times. I have made 4 industry transitions, and some of them were my choice, and some of them were not, simply because when you're restructured out, you got to pivot, and I did. Um, Multiple role transitions. So I have been in sales, I've been in marketing, I've been in product development, I've been in digital marketing, supply chain. So I've done a lot of different things through those roles. Some of them were promotions. One time I even created my own role. So, and the way I did that is exactly tied into what I'm going to show you today about selling yourself. So I went to my boss and I said, "Hey, I think we need this role in the company, and here's what I can do." And he did it. So it was all good. Now the other thing is 12 career promotions. So you would think that as a result of all of this going on, that I would be kind of stuck and just making lateral moves, but that was not the case. I was getting promoted in all of these jobs and in all of these industries and roles, and you can too. But now I'm a certified work-life coach, and I was certified a while back while I was still in my corporate life. But what I realized in the last few years is that everything I went through, everything that I overcame, this little weed here poking up out of the dirt between the bricks. I want to share all that with groups and with my one-on-one clients, inside workplaces, inside organizations. I help them help their people achieve their full potential. So hopefully that will be helpful for you today. So let's start by just talking about, what does marketing mean? Well, marketing is the action. Something has to happen promoting and selling products or services. And what I want you to think about, it sounds a little weird, but you are the product and or the service. It's kind of like personal branding, right? Those are buzzwords that we hear all the time, but it really is about stepping outside yourself for a minute and thinking about, what are your attributes? What is it that you could promote about yourself? What service are you providing in the role that you play on the job and in the workplace? So let's just talk a little bit about Marketing 101, why people buy things, because this is going to give us some really good clues as to how you can market yourself. Well, people buy things for a couple of reasons. Physical, they need something to solve a problem. Um, it's really powerful if the solution to that problem also touches on an emotional pain point. So it's not just something physical, but it touches on something emotional that's tied to the problem that the person is experiencing, and also philosophical. So that's like the bigger questions of life. Is it possible that something you sell, a product that gets sold, can solve the bigger philosophical issues of life? And the answer is absolutely yes. And the deeper you go into the solution, beyond just the physical, beyond the emotional, and all the way into the philosophical, the more powerful it is. So let's talk a little bit. The previous picture I showed was a picture of a restaurant. So why do restaurants exist, right? Well, we need to eat, and we could go do that ourselves. It's a physical problem of needing food, but what's the emotional thing? You don't have time to fix dinner at your house, or there's a special occasion and you want it to be something special and exciting and romantic. See now how it's getting into the emotional side? And the philosophical side would be, gosh, it shouldn't be so hard to do something really special for my loved one, or to give myself a great experience. That the philosophical becomes somewhat experiential. Let's take it a little bit a step further. The lawn needs help. This is a physical problem that lots of people encounter. And so when you have that physical problem, sure, you can buy a new lawnmower, you can hire someone to do your lawn. But what's the deeper issue here? Every time you drive up to your house, you feel shame and embarrassment because that horrible lawn is staring you in the face. You've got to do something about it. Now, the philosophical question here is it shouldn't be so hard to have a great looking yard. That's the problem that you're solving for someone who needs yard work done. You address each of those 3 levels of problem solving, and now you're tapping into someone's true reason to buy, their true reason to take action towards what the problem that's being solved. So it's addressing a problem, it's relieving an emotional pain point, and it's creating a value add experience. This is the important thing to remember, is that it's got to go beyond a restaurant. It's got to go beyond just throwing food on a table. It's going to create that experience and have an impact on people. So what does this look like when people hire you? This is going to look really interesting when it comes to marketing yourself. So it comes down to looking at job descriptions and looking them in a little bit different way. So instead of thinking of this is just all of the stuff that I need to do, instead it's going to be telling you the outcomes and the problems that are being solved as a result of that role existing in the company. So start to look at job descriptions as the outcomes, not just the stuff to do. We'll let somebody else in here. Okay, so what I mean by that is I want you to look at that as a way to uncover the problem that's being solved by that role existing in the company and addressing it. So look at job descriptions with a different lens. Look at them as what are they really looking for? Not just the stuff that's being done, but why is it being done? What is the outcome that they're seeking as a result of having this role in the company? This is especially powerful when you address the hiring manager's specific pain points, meaning what does success look like for them? What is the outcome of all of this? I want to move this over because I don't know if you guys can see all of that. So let's go, continue on. All right, so I want you to focus on your transferable skills and accomplishments. That's what I want you to do. And how do you do that? Well, the way you do that is you think about what problems did you solve? You ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my strengths? What am I really good at? And one of the ways to think about strengths is, what do you do that gives you a satisfied feeling? What do you do that when you do it, it just flows naturally from you? That's a bit of a clue as to what your strength is. What did you do? Yes, it is what you did on the job, but think of it a little deeper than just the tools of the trade, the responsibilities. Go a little bit deeper. How did you interact with people? How did you behave? What were the traits and characteristics that showed up as a result of you being in the workplace? And go into, what did you contribute? Because that's going to be really powerful as we move through this. When you want to think about an accomplishment, what did it contribute? Did it make a difference in some way, in some tangible way, or even with relationships and collaboration? All of those types of things are ways you can kind of frame the work you did alongside all of these questions, and how would you answer those for yourself? Really, what it's coming down to is value. I want you to think of the value that you added to the workplace, by delivering the projects, by collaborating with other people, by leading meetings. What was the value that you contributed? That's really what we're after here. And that's something you really need to understand about yourself and get super self-aware about when you are figuring out how to market yourself. Now, this is something that I do with my clients. It's one of our regular exercises that we dive in and we look at what was their value. And it's so easy to be in the trap of, this is what I did. I delivered this project on time. I facilitated a meeting. I do social media marketing. Well, those are the things, but the conversations I have with my clients, we draw out more of what that value looks like. Why is social media marketing important? Well, it increases sales. That's the value of a digital marketer. You see where I'm going here? So think about it in those terms. So back to, why do people buy things? Why do we go to nice restaurants? Why do we hire someone to work on our lawn? Why do we shop for that new outfit or that new pair of shoes? Trust me, it sounds a little odd, but it's the same reasons why you get hired. It's because they catch a vision. We as consumers catch a vision of what our life will be like after we make the purchase. This is car companies. This is every kind of product. You can have any kind of car, but why do you pick the specific car you pick? Because you get this vision of what your life is going to be like. In the workplace, it's what life looks like with you in the role. What does that organization's life look like? What does that hiring manager's life look like? What does that team look like with you in the role? Because they see the value, they envision the result, and the bottom line with all of this is, life is better. That's what we're all seeking. We're all seeking a better life. And so is the hiring manager. So is the recruiter. They want to put somebody out there who is right for the role. So it all boils down to something so simple. How can you make life better for the people and for the organization? So a couple of tangible things here. And you may, depending on how long you've been following me, or how much interaction you've had with the courses and the other content that I put out there, one of the things that I think from a tangible perspective is really important to selling yourself is how you present yourself on your resume. And I like to look at it in terms of these core competencies. You can call them core skills and achievements, or core skills and accomplishments, but basically it comes down to your transferable skills. This is going to really showcase and share what you're all about, what your value is in the workplace. And this is a one-page resume that I made up. If you're a one-page resume person, then this could be a great format for you. You really just, I want you to use a minimum of 3 transferable skills, put them in narrative form. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And for everybody who's attending, I recently did a webinar called How to Discover and Leverage Your Transferable Skills. It's a companion to my guide. If any of you have downloaded my paper worksheets for understanding your transferable skills or uncovering them, then this is a really great webinar in companion to that. So for everybody who's attending, when we finish within the next day or so, I will send you some additional tools, which will include a link to that other webinar that'll dive right into this that I'm talking about here, as well as the transferable skills worksheets, just in case you didn't have them. So let's look a bit closer at these. So what I want you to think about in terms of your transferable skills is putting them into groups: leadership and management, stellar communicator advocate, adaptability and flexibility. These are just examples of 2 transferable skills that work well together that you could talk about in a story about yourself and a narrative about yourself. But the key thing here is to also attach a result to them. This is an accomplishment that you had that's going to help create that picture of success, that vision of what it looks like to have you on the team for the hiring manager. So in this case, a very tangible result was created a manual for onboarding new clients, increased visibility to outcomes, improved deliverables. So a hard result attached to these soft skills, also transferable skills, as soft and transferable are words that are interchangeable. The next one, a stellar communicator and advocate, is someone who has potentially launched an online communication platform with 100% team participation. So that's that hard accomplishment that is attached to those transferable skills. Then adaptability and flexibility. What did you go through? Ask yourself, what did you go through that would really show off your ability to be adaptable and flexible? This one here navigated 2 executive leadership changes while assuring minimal effect to customer service standards and disruption, was inspired by my true life experience. One company I worked for had 6 CEO changes in the 6.5 years that I was there. So you talk about being adaptable and flexible. Every time a new person came in, there was a completely new strategy, new ideas about how we should be doing things. And so this is the way I want you to think about it. Probably everybody could put adaptability and flexibility on your resume, because I'm sure any time you navigated change, anytime you got a new manager or new people came onto the team and you absorbed that change and you navigated that change, that shows your ability to be adaptable and flexible. Bottom line is, what does success look like for them? So another little tidbit I want to share with you is how you could create sort of a single sentence, right? You could call it your elevator pitch, that type of thing. And it's not really a single sentence, but it's a super concise statement that addresses the problem, the solution you bring, and what life looks like after. So let's look at an example of one of those. This is a description of a digital marketing manager. So this would be something at the top, would replace your professional summary. You could put as a summary of the role that you'll be fulfilling. So in this case, we're saying We're addressing the problem. Many business leaders are struggling to make sense of how digital marketing makes a difference to the bottom line. It's understandable. Best practices are always changing and it feels confusing. See what I'm doing here? I'm addressing a pain point that a business person might have. They know they need a digital marketing person. And they know why, because they don't know how it works. There's best practices changing all the time. How does Facebook work? How does Google work? It's addressing the fact that this is an actual problem that needs to be addressed, but we're also addressing an emotional problem here, right? In that it feels confusing, right? That's the key. Is there an emotion tied to this problem, this philosophical problem? This shouldn't be so hard, but I know I need it. So the next thing is you will make a statement about yourself. As your digital marketing manager, you'll stay up on trends, you'll have understandable strategies, campaigns are executed with precision, reports provide relevant, actionable insight. This is a couple of sentences that says exactly what a digital marketer will do within this organization, how they will relieve the confusion. They'll show what's trending, how we're pivoting, creating strategies that are executed and provide insight. So that's a couple of sentences, but super powerful as to what it looks like when this digital marketer shows up on the job. And lastly, the result is a responsive digital marketing, positive ROI, and increased sales. So now we're going back to those outcomes. What is the ultimate outcome that role is seeking, that role is providing? So when you show them what the outcome, value, and success looks like as a result of your work, you're thinking for yourself, you're thinking about then what you have already accomplished, as well as what it looks like in the future. So when you connect your past successes with your transferable skills, the person who's interviewing, the person that's hiring you, starts to get a sense of what that looks like. So let's talk a little bit about what that might look like in an interview, because you've got your resume, but now you're in an interview. So now you want to kind of step up that marketing of yourself. So this is where you can really ask some good questions. Write down some questions that come into your mind when you look at that job description. If you're unclear about the outcome, then make a note of that. That's absolutely something that you can ask. An interview is a two-way conversation. You are not at their mercy. You have a perfect right and actually an obligation to yourself to ask them as many questions as they're asking you. You want to make sure it's a good fit for you, because you know you want to make a difference. You know you want to use your skills and experiences to contribute. So by asking questions like, what is the biggest obstacle that this role solves for the company? What's your biggest obstacle on the team? When the hiring manager or the interviewer, whoever that might be, answers that question, well, when you have all of this information in the background on your resume, as well as have what you've done to prepare for the interview, you're going to be able to answer those questions in a relevant way that, again, always is thinking about them. How can I solve the problem from that? It's not about shouting what you did. It's about the application and what it looks like with you in the role. So think about that. Now, another little bonus I'm going to give you for being in the class is I'm going to send you the interview preparation guide that I give my clients. And usually I charge for that if that's all somebody wants from me, is I just need help getting ready for an interview. But I'm going to send that to you also in a follow-up email after the class, so you'll have what you need there. So now we're getting into what matters most. So you've got all these tangibles. You've got a great resume. You are prepared for the interview. You know what your accomplishments are. You know what your standout characteristics and traits are that will make you a great candidate. Well, let's go into what actually matters most, because you can do all of that other stuff right. But if you don't do this next part, then chances are you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And that is number one, belief in yourself. You absolutely have to believe in yourself. You actually also have to believe in your unique proposition. And what I mean by that is everything you bring to the table, all of your accomplishments, all of your transferable skills, the accumulation of all of that is your unique proposition in that workplace, in that role. You've got to believe in that. It's also about belief in your prospective employer. And this may also sound weird, right? Like, don't I need them to believe in me? Absolutely. But you need to believe in them. You need to believe that they are capable of seeing your true value. When you go in believing that they're going to see your value, you don't have to be in this convincing energy. You don't have to be in this desperation mode, because you believe they are going to see it, which means that you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to overanalyze their facial expressions and every other little thing that's going on, because this all comes together as belief in you, what you have to offer, and them. And that is a absolutely powerful combination. All three together. You could believe in them, but if you don't believe in yourself, not going to get the results. You take out any piece of this pie and you're not going to get the result that you're actually after. Well, what does belief in yourself look like? Well, it's believing in your strengths. It's believing in your skills. It's belief in your accomplishments. You have to know what they are and feel really good about them to believe them. And it's a belief in your traits, those unique qualities that you bring to the workplace. Does everybody spark when you enter a room? Are you the person that brings a sense of humor to a meeting? Are you very empathetic? Are you able to understand people? Are you a great listener? These are all traits that you have that can help you believe in yourself, because you're going to bring those with you wherever you go. Belief in your unique proposition. This is about impact. One simple word, impact. What is the impact you're going to have when they hire you? What is the result they're going to get when they hire you? Think about that, because everything you accomplished in the past just empowers you to do it again. If you did it once, you can absolutely do it again. If you had impact once, you will have impact again. That is where you start to really get into that belief that it's not just what you did, but it's actually forecasting your future impact. So think about that as far, like when I talk about belief in your unique proposition. And belief in your prospective employer, that it's their willingness to see your value, that they're not interviewing just because it's fun. I've been a hiring manager. Maybe you have to. You know that it is not the most fun thing to do on this planet, but you're there for a reason. And so when you believe that they're really there because they want the best candidate for the position, that they're there seeking something, they're seeking an answer, they're seeking a solution, they're looking for the right person for the job, and you believe that they're going to see you as that person, major difference in how the interview goes, major difference in what result you're going to finally get. So a long time ago, someone told me a sale is nothing more than a transfer of belief and enthusiasm. The stronger your belief in yourself and those three things, the more impact it's going to have. That belief is going to get transferred to the person on the other side of the desk. It's physiological. It's energy. This isn't woo-woo stuff. This is why people get excited about buying a new car, buying a new outfit, buying a new computer, is because they can see what the result's going to be on the other side. And that's happened because of the enthusiasm and belief of the person communicating that value, communicating that solution. When you believe, the other person on the other side of the desk absolutely will believe it too. This is the work that you must do. You must do the work on your tangibles. Have a great resume. Have a great LinkedIn profile. Hopefully, if you're following me, you've already downloaded my visual guide to the LinkedIn profile. I'll make a little note here. I'll send that to you too, just in case, because I want you to have all your tangibles in place. But without that belief, your tangibles will fall flat. You've got to take every action you have has to be from a deep sense of self-awareness, of belief in your sufficiency, of belief in that you absolutely know what you're doing and that you're right for the position. That's what's really going to make the difference. So, going to open it up for questions. Let's take a look here. Okay, well, I want you to know how you can get in touch with me. And if you're already following me on LinkedIn, that's awesome. You can, my name is Elisa Shuck. That's how it's spelled. Find me there. If you want to email me directly, you're welcome to do that too. I would absolutely respond to your email and answer any questions that you have. I always do free webinars, free resume reviews. So if you want to take a look at that, then I will give you a free review. I'll give you some feedback. If you have some ideas about your transferable skills narrative, we can look at that as well. So definitely feel free to do that. You can even message it to me. You can attach anything in a LinkedIn message too if we're connected. So that's good. Also, I would love if you want to dive a little bit deeper, if you want to give me some of your specific pain points that you're dealing with, you're welcome to schedule a free consult with me. So I put that URL in the contact slide here. So feel free to schedule at your convenience. All my available times are in there, and we'll do that. So yes, there's a question about a recording. So I will absolutely follow up. I've got your emails because of your registration. So I'm going to follow up with a link to the recording of the class. I'm going to send you the interview preparation guide. I'm going to send you the transferable skills worksheet. If you don't have it already, if you already have it, then, I'd rather send it to you twice than have you not have it. And then I'm also going to send you a link to the video replay of a webinar that I did earlier this week that's called Discover and Leverage Your Transferable Skills. And it's the perfect companion to those worksheets. So I'm going to send you all of that stuff. Another question is, how do you reprogram yourself when you did not ace the interview? That is a really good question. And one of the things that I've included in that interview preparation worksheet is actually a post-interview evaluation sheet. So what you're going to be able to do with that is you're going to be able to say, what worked, what didn't work, and what would I do differently? So those are the questions you have to ask yourself. And when you don't feel an interview did well, there's always something that you can learn from it. And chances are it may not have gone as bad as you think it did, because our brain likes to protect us and likes to shield us. And so it may tell you negative things because it doesn't want you to do that again. Don't do that again. It's terrible. It's awful. But you must do it again. So to reprogram yourself and reframe that, it's really good to look at, what did I learn from this experience? What worked really well? And what didn't work well? That is a very neutral question. Um, Ask that question of yourself without any self-judgment, because you've got to have your own back. You've got to give grace to yourself. So, but you'll never get better unless you address those things that you didn't think, for whatever reason, work as well as it could have. So it's a great question. It's part of the interview worksheets that I'll be sending you, because hey, the goal is that you get through one interview, you get a second interview, and every time you do that evaluation post interview, it prepares you for the next one. And then it's that same thing. You do the same pre-preparation guide the next time you interview. Okay, cool. Thank you all for being here. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you can get out there and market yourself with confidence and get your dream job. All right, we'll see you next time.